buying real estate. With wheat, might have been possible in the 16th century. But if someone tells you that you can do that today as well, then probably you will think that the person who is telling this is crazy. Well, in today's video of Finance Daddy, we will talk about where and how this is happening in today's 21st century. Pause the video for 5 seconds and comment below your guess. In which country you think this might be happening? Give a pat on your back if you guessed China. You were absolutely right. Real estate developers are attempting to sell homes by accepting wheat, garlic, watermelons, and peaches as down payments. That's correct. Food for houses is a project you've probably never heard of. It's also extremely appealing. In one case, real estate developers in central China contacted farmers, giving them the chance to decrease their down payment by $23,900 by paying in wheat. In addition, if you produced 43 tons of wheat, you could theoretically lower your down payment by almost $23,900. In another case, a real estate business completed roughly 30 sales by accepting garlic as a down payment over the course of 16 days. The campaign brought in approximately 500 tons of garlic. So, what's going on here? Is China transitioning to barter? No, it's a marketing push to sell a product that very few people desire right now. Houses. There is no denying it anymore. Property developers in China are in serious trouble when compared to a year earlier. Home sales have dropped by over 60%, and the continuous drop in sales for 11 months has been the worst in China's history. In March 2020, 288 flats in a Shenzhen project allegedly sold out online in under 7 minutes. You can see how the tide has shifted. But how did China's once booming real estate sector become so stagnant? So we'll have to make a little detour. People in China relied mostly on agriculture in 1970. And that wasn't the roaring red dragon we've come to know and love. However, as the country began to industrialize, possibilities began to emerge in specific areas. Unfortunately, the Chinese government held all of the property and provided citizens with public homes at subsidized costs. This meant that the real estate business would never take off. However, the Chinese authorities ultimately let go in 1998. They leased state-owned property to private developers who quickly capitalized on this welcome shift by constructing vast residential facilities around the country. They constructed homes for everyone, and then some. Build and they will come was the motto, and before long, the majority of households had a real house. In fact, things worsened. Previously, individuals bought a home to raise a family, but the real estate bubble spawned a whole new market for speculators, people who kept buying properties in the belief that values would continue to rise. There was a frenzy in places like Beijing and Shenzhen. Real estate prices exceeded 50 times of the average national income, and this remarkable rise has priced many legitimate homebuyers out entirely. As a result, empty houses began to pile up quickly. According to some estimations, there are currently around 65 million unoccupied dwellings. Even as a percentage, the figures are bleak. Vacancy rates in places like Nanning, for example, have reached as high as 24%. Consider this for a moment. 1 out of every 4 homes is vacant. It's insane. Not merely because speculators began bidding up the price. There is another viewpoint. For years, the Chinese government has made cheap funding available to companies like Evergrande, China's largest real estate business. These corporations, in turn, have used low-cost financing to acquire land tracts around the country. With a limited supply of land, this enormous purchasing binge has produced an artificial scarcity. The resulting shortage has indirectly driven up land prices, and the rise in land prices has fueled the property price bubble. Prices are now so out of whack that most Chinese people simply cannot afford to purchase a home. As a result, the Chinese government was forced to take action, not necessarily by causing a catastrophic breakdown. Instead, by imposing more constraints on developers, restrictions such as shutting off financing to already indebted companies. This has exposed several fault lines. Evergrande, China's largest developer, defaulted on a $300 billion loan last year. Other developers, such as Sunac and Fantasia, are requesting more leeway from creditors. Last week, the Shimao Group also fell behind on payments. It's a massacre. This has frightened Chinese purchasers even more. you wouldn't want to invest a lot of money, only to have your real estate developer abandon the project. People have also complained about bad construction in situations when developers have come through, such as leaking windows, faulty elevators, and a lack of landscaping and pavements. Chinese homebuyers have had their fill, so you can understand why developers are currently forced to rely on unusual marketing strategies to sell their houses. But there is one nagging question. Shouldn't this result in a complete price capitulation? Shouldn't this obliterate the Chinese real estate market? No, not exactly. If prices fell overnight, the Chinese government has the authority to interfere and artificially raise them, according to Li Gan, an economics expert. China can halt a transaction. The government has the authority to adjust the amount of years you have to own a residence. If the price is too low, the government will not issue you a certificate of sale. They can influence results to some extent, but you have to wonder, is this simply postponing the inevitable? Will this actually do anything? We don't know, to be honest. For the time being, garlic and watermelon appear to be effective, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. I hope you liked the video. If you do, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that I get the motivation to bring more videos like these that are not discussed in our everyday lives. Have a financial full day ahead.